Hi class, welcome to Open Minds Spring 2021. I will be your visual arts teacher for Open Minds. My name is Miss Jasmine and I'm an artist and graphic designer. We're just going to jump right into the project today. Today's first lesson is going to be a watercolor landscape, or it can be a sunset or a sunrise, or whatever you want it to be. I'm going to do a sunset today. And so here's what you're going to need, okay? So make sure you have all your supplies in front of you and ready. You're going to need a canvas, okay, one of the canvases. You can use the 11 by 14 one or whatever's in the bag that you've been provided. You're going to need your watercolor, okay? Watercolors. You're going to need a napkin to clean your brush off. Or you can use, I have my old artist rag. It looks really bad, but it gets the job done. I clean my brushes on this. You need tape. You can use tape if you want, okay? But you don't really need this. You can use tape to map out the edges of your canvas if you want to match them off. And last but not least, of course, you're going to need your brushes. Or you can just use the one brush that came with the watercolor kit and a cup of water to clean off your brushes, okay? So let's just jump right into it and get started. So I started by drawing out actually like a sketch of what I wanted. I did research a couple of sunsets and got an idea of what I wanted to do. You can do that as well. You can look on Google. You can go outside and paint. It's nice outside today, I think. You could do a live painting, paint from real life, or you can just paint from your imagination, or you can paint from a photo if you want. It's up to you, okay? I actually drew a sketch, okay, and I wrote down some notes for myself so I can know like what color, where to place what color, okay? So I have my horizon line right here. Okay, you can use a ruler to do this if you want. Your horizon line can be wherever you want on your picture. Mine is down here. You can put yours up here, wherever you want. We can put it in the middle. I didn't use a ruler, I just eyeballed it, okay? So then, I wrote my horizon line right here. I'm sorry that it's kind of flipped, my apologies. And then I just wrote down the colors. So here I went from yellow to light blue, yellow, light blue, and then some orange down here. And I just mapped out what I wanted to do so I could remember, okay? Now with watercolors, they are not as thick as acrylic, which is what we usually use for our projects, right? Watercolor, it's water-based, self-explanatory, okay? So when you dip the brush, with watercolor, you want to use your brush and dip it in the water first, okay? To get the brush wet, and then you want to pick which color you want to use and start painting. So my brushes are already soaking, okay? And with a sunset, it's colorful. I want it to be, make yours as colorful as you can. Add whatever colors you want, okay? So with sunsets, it gets pretty bright down here, so the colors will probably get a little lighter. So that's why like yellow and white is down here. Then as you go up, it goes into like blue, and then the oranges and things start coming in, okay? So let's get started. So I'm gonna open up my watercolor. And for this watercolor palette, we have basically the primary colors, okay? So we have black, brown, blue, green, yellow, red, and purple. These are the basic colors. So you want to dip your brush in the water first, okay? And I'm going to start with yellow for mine. I'm just going to start with the sun, actually. So let's just jump in here and just start drawing here. Now the tough thing about watercolor is it's so thin, right? So I already drew my sketch on here. I'm actually gonna go in and erase my sketch now that I kind of get an idea of what I want. I can't remember what I put on here, so I'm going to erase the pencil marks because I don't want it to blend in with my ink, my water. So watercolor. So give me a second. You can use a netted eraser if you want instead of the pencil eraser. You can get a netted eraser from the art store, dollar store. Okay, that should clear that up. So yeah, we make mistakes sometimes. So this was kind of a mistake of mine. I was just trying to give you guys like a guideline. All right, so pencil marks are pretty much gone. So let's just jump right back into the painting. And after every color you choose, you need to wipe your brush off in the water, clean it off, and wipe it off on a napkin, just so you won't blend the colors on the actual palette. You don't want to have, you know, like blue, you know, in the watercolor palette blending in with, you know, yellow. It's going to mess up the colors, right? So make sure you clean your brush off, or pick a new brush. Or use a new brush, okay? The more water you add, the thinner it will be. The less water you add, the thicker the watercolor will be on the canvas. Like I said, you can use a canvas or you can use a watercolor pad, a watercolor paper. So that's pretty thick there. Okay. So here's where we're going to start blending the colors up. So we're going to go from yellow, and on my canvas, we're going to go from yellow to light orange, back to yellow, to blue, and to light blue, and to dark blue, okay? The sky kind of gets darker as you go up. And you can add some water in here to thin it out, because I'm going to be adding some yellow. So remember, the less water, the thicker it will look. More water, the lighter it will look. And just pull. And then we're going to go up. I'm going to add And I can erase the pencil marks after I'm done. And this dries pretty quickly, so you want to move kind of fast. Here's where you can start freestyling, okay? Oh, it's dripping. Let's wipe that up. Here's where you can start freestyling, okay? Just throw some colors in there, really. Even though I mapped out my colors, you can just add whatever you want. So while the yellow is wet, and it's just art, it's just going over layers. So I just keep going in, adding different colors, really. Wipe my brush off, and then you gotta move kind of fast with this, though, so you can blend it. So we have yellow here, okay? And then you can start just blending that in, okay? You see how it's dripping? Now, you guys might want to work flat on a flat surface, but since I'm teaching you and showing you, I'm going to hold it up to the camera, okay? And it's going to be pretty thin. That's what watercolor is. See, I didn't put too much water in here. So you want to blend in, you want to go across, okay? I'm going to go across. Just keep going. So let's just speed up here. I'm going to get a bigger brush actually because this is taking a little bit too long. If you have a bigger brush, you may use it. I'm going to use one of these, okay? But you also can go to Michael's, okay? And get a watercolor brush if you want. So there we go. I'm gonna add some more. So when you're blending, I'm gonna go straight from side to side, okay? And you're gonna go back and forth between the orange and the yellow. That's how you blend the colors. Then I'm gonna go back to yellow. And then I'm gonna start adding the blue in. So I'm gonna clean my brush off. Okay, so here's my background so far. And this is just the background. I'm gonna do some blue here. And you can blend down. So you start with the blue up here, okay? And then blend down. coming together. So you just want to keep adding colors. Sorry, it's dripping. You guys should definitely lay yours flat on your work area or desk, okay? So I won't do this, but since I'm teaching and showing you guys, I'm just going to keep holding it up. So you just want to keep adding colors. So now I'm going to do some blue and some red, okay? And I'm going to do blue down here. And then just have fun with it. Add whatever colors you want. And art is all about building layers. So, you know, like when this layer dries, I can keep adding layers if I want. Just building on top of what we're doing. So what did we say? You go from left to right, right to left, okay? See, it's coming together, okay? And you can make it look abstract if you want. So here you can start adding thicker amounts of paint, okay? I'm going to erase the words when it dries. Then you can just swirl. So just play around with it. And then use your tools around you. Use your brushes, use your napkin. I can dab here, take away some paint, okay? It's really simple. Once again, I'm sorry guys that mine is dripping. It's because I'm just trying to show you, and this is how I'm showing you today to hold it up, okay? So you can let that dry if you want, or you can just keep going in and adding colors. Your colors are going to be a little different if you keep adding colors to it because it's wet, okay? All I did to make a little like abstract water effect was just go in with some blue and just add it down here, okay? And of course I didn't put as much water on that when I was adding a new layer of like waves. So when you get near the horizon, you kind of want to make it a little darker. So I'm gonna get my little brush, my skinny brush rather, smaller brush, sorry. I'm going to go. So here I added a lot of paint, okay? Not as much water. See, the layer underneath is drying and I can just keep adding colors. Just add colors, see? It's coming along. And then you wanna move your brush, okay, and blend down. lift your brush up as you go down, okay? So let's say you want to make some waves, okay? I'm going to dip my brush in the blue, okay? I'm going to go, let's say I was go right here. My sun is actually right here. I don't know what I was doing. And then you want to go down. Press hard right here, and then as you go down, lift up, okay? And you can make like a squiggly line there. All right. Press down hard. Get a lot of paint up here near the horizon line, and then as you go down, lift up, okay? And then you can, whatever effects you want, however you want it to look. I'm going to go across and do like this. I'm not pressing hard. I'm doing like this with the brush, and this looking. You want to create a reflection or like a ripple effect. So here, there's not even a lot of water on my brush. I'm just making it up as I go. So this is kind of like a dry brush effect now. Just press and pull as you go across. Kind of create some waves, some fake waves. There we go. Okay. Now you can leave it like that if you want, but I'm gonna add some more colors to mine. So you can create a couple of these. Watercolor is supposed to be quick, you know? Quick studies. You can do a couple of small ones in your sketchbook if you want to get like, I think some, of course, a watercolor pad, like I said, or some Bristol board, or a small sketchbook. You can do a couple of these. But just know using paper, it's gonna crinkle the paper up, so you don't want to mess up your sketchbook too much. But all right, you can add some birds here. Now my sunset is a little off here; it's not centered, but whatever. You can fix it. Keep going over the layers and fixing it. So you see, it's coming together. Let's add some more orange. I'm gonna wipe my brush off. Okay, and now we're gonna get into a little bit of detail. You see what I did with this small, skinny brush for the water? Okay. We're kind of gonna do that to the sky, but it's gonna have a different look or a different effect. Well, it's kind of the same technique, so I'm just going back in and making like the sky and some clouds. So when you're drawing clouds, I know you were taught to like draw like circles like cotton balls, but you don't have to do that with watercolor. You can just lay the color down and do what we did for the water, kind of. Okay. And if you're painting from real life, just look at the sky and see what paint what you see. Just really a bunch of colors. Then we can do some here. And the color is going to change a little bit because the orange is still wet. So it's gonna look a little green, okay? But if you wanna let it dry and go over that, you know, background layer, then you can do that. I'm just gonna keep painting though. And now I'm using kind of a dry brush effect again, just going across and just play around with it till you get the effect you want. I'm gonna add some, go back and add some orange. And just keep going back and forth with the colors. Now I'm gonna wipe that off, so mistakes, once again. Good mistakes though. I'm gonna wipe it off because it didn't give the effect I wanted. So just drag and pull. Gonna go with some orange again. There we go. So since it was wet, still wet right there, it kind of made like a blue brownish effect, which is what I really didn't want right there. And then I'm gonna go add some blue. So I'm not adding as much water, I'm just actually gonna add a little bit. Like I said, if you wanted to stop where we were, you can, before I added these colors, extra colors, because it actually looked pretty cool. As the layers being kind of thin. But if you want to make them thicker and add more color, you can keep going with it, okay? And that's pretty cool. It kind of looks like something's off far in the distance. So see, I'm doing the same thing with I did with the water, kinda. So you want to start with a lot of paint here, then lift up and go down. Lift your brush up as you go down, okay? Brush off. I'm gonna get my big brush this time with my the middle size brush. There we go. Gonna add some more here. And just blend it down, okay, into what we just did. And then I'm going to grab some yellow here. Okay. And I'm going to let that dry again and then go over it again. So the colors won't be mushy and muddy and brown. And as far as the sunset, we can actually, so when it was wet, we could have actually took the towel and made like a, I'm sorry, took the yellow, some of the yellow out and made like a white sunset. So you can wipe it a little, but mine already dried, but it's a little yellow there. So let's say, so I'm going to go over the sun. Gonna add some yellow here, okay, where the sun is. Go in. Okay, so you wanna my sunset is not centered. And then you would like take your towel and then remove some of that, so it could create like a light white sunset. So you want to dab it, okay? Just inside a little, just a little bit, so it's kind of dark on the outside of the sun, and then the inside is like a little white. You can scrape it off if you want, whatever effect you want. So it's dripping now. So I'm gonna add some red in there. Let's see here. Yeah. So I'm gonna add some red in there. Sorry. Just a little bit. Just wherever you just want to add it. Keep it up here. Just randomly add it there somewhere, okay? Like I said, you can do like studies of these really in your sketchbook if you want. If you want to work on your landscape and your perspective. Okay. I think I'm gonna let this dry a little bit so I can keep adding color, because I want it to dry. I don't want the colors to be muddy and brown and mushy. But okay. All right, so I'm going to stop right here. Here's my final sunset for right now. I'm going to let it dry a little bit so I can add a layer on top of it. I do work in layers, so yeah. But that's kind of what we're shooting for here, guys. Make sure you sign your work in the, wherever you want. I usually sign mine in the bottom right corner, okay? And these also have the cool, you can put your name and stuff in the back. In the year you made it. I signed and I put the date on mine. Okay, and I'm going to erase the pencil marks once this dries. And sometimes it'll pull up the paint, but I'm just gonna go back in and add to it, okay? So guys, that's the lesson for today. Okay. Watercolor sunsets, sunrises, or landscapes, whatever you want to do. Please be sure to send me pictures, okay? Send us pictures of your work, all right? I want to see what you come up with for this. Okay. So, bye. Have a good day.